Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Woodbridge, the best town around. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor of this great town, and we're here today for the always pleasant task of swearing in this case, a new police officer and recognizing existing police officers for heroism and bravery in the course of duty. I'd like to introduce our team here, starting to my behind me here is the Police Director, Bob Hubner. Next to him is Deputy Director Joe Niski. Next to him, Council President, who's at large, Greg FICARRA. First Ward Councilwoman covering Woodbridge and Seawarren, Sharon McAuliffe. Councilwoman at large, LIZBETH DEJESUS. Fifth Ward Councilwoman Debbie Meehan covering Colonia. Third Ward Councilman Corey Spiller, covering Avondale and Port Reading. I'll slow down. Second Ward Councilman Howie Bauer covering Ford's Hope Lawn and Caseby. And Councilman at large and former member of the Woodbridge Police Department, Brian Small. So we are going to begin with the swearing in of a new Woodbridge police officer who I met last week at the indoctrination downstairs in the muster room. And as I said that day, you're joining the best police department in the state of New Jersey. So I'd like to call up Police Officer Sarah Contessa. Officer Sarah Contessa, 29, a resident of Woodbridge, the Woodbridge proper section of the township, graduated from Bishop R High School, as I did when it was St. Thomas Aquinas High School, as your Deputy Director did when it was St. Thomas Aquinas High School, as my daughter did when it was Bishop R High School. We decided a few years away from you, so congratulations on that, but this is much more important. Following your high school graduation, Officer Contessa enrolled at Raritan Valley Community College, then Middlesex County College, earning an associate degree in criminal justice in 2017. Officer Contessa continued her education at New Jersey City University, graduating in 2019 with a bachelor's degree of science in national security studies. Officer Contessa was employed in the hospitality industry before deciding on a career in law enforcement. In 2021, Officer Contessa began her journey in law enforcement as a communications dispatch officer at the East Brunswick Police Department. In 2022, Officer Contessa graduated from the Mercer County Police Academy and undertook employment with the Middlesex County Sheriff's Department as a sheriff's officer, and subsequently transferred to the Bedminster Police Department in 2022 as a full-time police officer, and she will take up assignment in the Radio Patrol Division. Mr. Mitch, will you please swear in Officer Contessa?
Do you, Sarah Contessa, solemnly swear you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey? You will bear faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people. You will faithfully, impartially, and justly enforce all the laws and perform all the duties of the office of police officer according to the best of your ability. So,
I do.
Over there. All right, who's next? Okay, so many years ago we started the practice of recognizing an officer of the quarter, and this second quarter of 2023 is Officer George Beato. Whereas Woodbridge Officer George Beato, a 3-year veteran assigned to the Radio Patrol Division, Squad 12, has demonstrated a commitment to policing, law enforcement, and public safety. During the second quarter of 2023, Officer Beato responded to 457 calls for service, conducted 227 special checks, and initiated law enforcement-related investigations, which resulted in the enforcement actions to include the issuance of traffic summonses, DUI summonses, enforcement of warrants, and the arrest of defendants in violations of criminal statutes. On June 6th, Officer Beato notified that a stolen vehicle had entered the Colonia section of the township, immediately initiated patrol of the designated area, located the vehicle, and initiated pursuit. The vehicle was pursued through Robbie into Clark, where it was stopped and 2 occupants arrested and charged with violations of statutes. On June 16th, Officer Beato, along with Woodbridge Patrol units, responded to a report of a burglary at the Topaz Smoke Shop in the Ford section of town, at which time Officer Beato encountered an individual fitting the description of a burglary suspect, detained and arrested the individual in possession of proceeds from the burglary. And whereas Officer Beato is recognized and honored before the Woodbridge Police Department, peers, community, and family for his dedication to duty and police professionalism, is hereby named Police Officer of the second quarter of the year 2023. Officer Beato. You want to say anything?
Real quick, I want to say that I'm thankful to be here tonight, and it is an honor to serve the Township of Woodbridge as a Woodbridge police officer. I'm glad I came here. I'm very happy to be here. I work along with great women and men that work in the police department. I'm thankful for my peers and my supervisors, and I'm glad to be here tonight. Thank you guys for coming.
Good job, man. Okay, the next award goes to two police officers, Carol Sohn and Samuel Wanuzzi. Officer Sohn is a 3-year veteran of the Woodbridge Police Department, and Officer Wanuzzi is a 4-year veteran. And on May 24, 2023, Officer Carol Sohn, and I'll read hers first, I'll read them both, in concert with Officer Wanuzzi, responded to a report of a motor vehicle accident on US Highway 9 South and Smith Street in the Casby section of town. Upon arrival at scene, Officer Sohn and Officer Wanuzzi observed the driver of the vehicle covered in blood, holding his neck and arm, and immediately conducted a patient assessment, applied tourniquets, and rendered medical assistance in advance of EMS. And whereas on scene and subsequent investigation conducted by Officers Sohn and Wanuzzi determined that the injuries sustained by the operator of the vehicle were not consistent with a motor vehicle accident and were in fact life-threatening self-inflicted wounds. And whereas Sohn and Wanuzzi are hereby recognized for their professional response and application of life-saving medical assistance, which resulted in the survival of the patient, and they are honored before the Woodbridge Township Police Department, fellow officers, and community. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody's alive because these two people did their job the way they were trained, based on their experience, and there's nothing better than knowing someone's alive because of you. You want to say anything?
Officer Wanuzzi and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and we're grateful that we were there and were able to render aid and that this person is alive today, and we appreciate everyone coming to support us, so thank you.
Okay, another life-saving action award for Police Officer Michael Tapia. Michael Tapia is an 18-year veteran of the Woodbridge PD. On May 30th, Officer Michael Tapia, assigned to the newly established ARRIVE program, and in concert with the mental health professional, responded to the Casby section of town on a report of an individual experiencing a mental health crisis. Upon arriving at the scene, Officer Tapia encountered officers from the Middlesex County Sheriff's Office attempting to serve an arrest warrant on the 33-year-old male resident, and reported that the defendant was locked inside the residence and was threatening suicide. Officer Tapia engaged the defendant, previously diagnosed as schizophrenic, in conversation and in a manner that quelled the immediate threat of suicide, and successfully convinced the distraught male to be transported to the hospital for mental health evaluation and treatment. Whereas Officer Tapia, a trained crisis negotiator, through his professionalism, effective and compassionate communication skills, and ability to de-escalate the situation, ensured not only the safety of the distraught individual, but mitigated any potential harm to responding officers and members of the community, and is hereby recognized for his dedication to public safety and honored before the Woodbridge Township police officers and the community. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, somebody's probably alive today because of something our cops did. In this case, it's 18-year veteran Michael Tapia. So if you don't mind, while ago, the whole idea of having a mental health person go with a police officer. This is clearly the perfect case to do that. Tell me about your training and your negotiating skills and the fact that you're perfectly trained for a situation like this.
Well, before the Arrive Together program, this police department has always had a crisis negotiation team. I just happened to be the officer who was with the civilian Rutgers mental health employee that day. As crisis negotiators, we just try to de-escalate the situation. In the old days, he used to say that we're just there to buy time until the SWAT team shows up. I've never bought into that ideology. I feel that when we show up, we're going to make sure that it comes to a peaceful resolution, that no cops are hurt, that no civilians are hurt. First, I just want to thank the mayor, town council, Director Hubner, Deputy Director Niski, Chief Law Enforcement Officer Brady, Captain Murphy, because of and town council, if I miss you guys, I'm sorry, but these individuals as a whole allow us to train and train and train, whether it's with local municipalities or the FBI or whoever, and because of that, I'm proud to say that Woodbridge has one of the best crisis negotiation teams in the state, and I know that because we have the accolades to back it up.
And tell me about Arrive. Arrive means you're riding along with the mental health professionals.
Correct.
And they just happened to be in your car when this case came up?
That's correct. So the sheriff's office went to go and serve an arrest warrant on this individual for violation of probation or parole. He comes to the window with a knife in his hand, saying that he's going to kill himself or kill cops if they try to come inside. When I arrived there with the Rutgers mental health employee, she was able to look up their database and found that this individual was diagnosed as being schizophrenic. First, I asked if there was any other crisis negotiators at the scene from the sheriff's offices. They said no, and I said, okay, well, here we go. It's all me right now. There came a point where, as crisis negotiators, you try to think outside the box. This individual wanted to smoke cigarettes, and I got on the air and I said, hey, can somebody get me a pack of cigarettes? Well, there was no response after that because they're like, did that cop just ask somebody to buy him a pack of cigarettes? But, the cigarettes showed up. Look, when you take everything away, what path you choose to go in life, at the end of the day, that day, it was just two individuals smoking cigarettes to help them deal with a stressful situation. And I thank God for everything that has happened to me that's been positive, and thank you guys for coming out. God bless you.
Wow. Another case of the right cop in the right place at the right time. How about that? How about that? All right, our final life-saving action award is not to a police officer, but is to Sarah Jastrzemski, registered nurse, who lives in the Colonia section of Woodbridge Township, who also went to Bishop Bar High School. I know that because she graduated with my daughter back in 2008. And I'd like to read this proclamation. Whereas the Department of Health and Human Services launched a mobile health services unit designed and equipped with the latest healthcare technologies and staff offering medical and healthcare services to residents. On July 7, 2023, Sarah and the Mobile Health Services Unit was on site at Jacobs Landing Housing Complex Schools Out community event when a female resident underwent a choking episode, at which time Nurse Jastrzemski immediately responded to the medical emergency, performed the Heimlich maneuver, and successfully dislodged the obstruction blocking the patient's windpipe. And whereas Sarah Jastrzemski is hereby recognized for her successful performance of the life-saving Heimlich maneuver and is being honored before Woodbridge Township Department of Health and Human Services, community, family, and friends. So when this happened, it was the end of your second week on the job? I think you started on Monday, and the following Friday you saved somebody's life. All right, so now you've been on how many weeks since then?
We're a little over a month now.
So how many more? So you're doing one every month, you think? Hope not. Well, this is again. Somebody, she's a registered nurse and she's a certified EMT. Now this health unit is something that was donated to the township by a business in town. It's about a $250,000 vehicle, so it's a very, very sizable donation. We accepted it very willingly. In fact, when they asked, what can we do, we suggested the mobile health unit because we do these events and Robert Wood comes with a unit, or Raritan Bay comes with a unit, or Hackensack Meridian, and we see what they mean, and we go to different sections of town. So we said, let's get our own, Somebody else paid for it. It was great. So Phil Bajowski, the head of the health department, whose actually daughter was friends with Sarah and my daughter back in high school. I won't get into the things they did because there's a lot of police officers here, and I'm not sure the statute of limitations is up yet. Where was I? So we got the mobile health unit, and we got somebody in there who's perfect to run it. Registered nurse who's an EMT. What more can you do? And here we are 10 days on the job, and she saved somebody's life. You want to say anything, Sarah?
I think that everything came down to right place at the right time, and if it wasn't for Mr. McCormick and Mr. Wojcicki to be able to get this mobile unit up and running, we might not have been at the right place at the right time. So I'm happy that she was able to go about and see another day and be able to keep moving, and I'm excited to see where the mobile unit continues to go.
Okay, now you got time for commercial. Tell me everything the mobile health unit has on board. You've done. We had a meeting today. 374 maybe trips with the mobile health unit. Don't correct my number. It was screenings. I'm sorry, wrong word, not the wrong number. Tell me what we do.
So the mobile health unit goes out to all different parts of the community. Right now we're targeting senior centers. We're going to be going to the apartment complexes in a couple of weeks. So we'll be able to see a vast majority of a lot of Woodbridge Township. And we do a lot of different screenings. It's blood pressures, glucose, cholesterol screenings, heart rates, and oxygen. And hopefully more in the future as well.
And it's also somebody can just come in and say, hey, these are my symptoms. What do I do? Who do I go to? Who do I see?
Yeah.
It's just a general conversation about healthcare also.
Absolutely. And if you don't have a primary doctor, you need a primary doctor, we're able to give you a primary doctor or recommend you to somebody for the next step as well if you do have abnormal results.
Great. Okay. Let me ask our health director, Phil Bajowski, if he'll come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. It's just an amazing story. Again, being in the right place at the right time for all the reasons the Mayor mentioned, between the police department, our behavioral services department, and our health mobile unit. It's amazing to be even indirectly related to saving lives. You can't top that. I mean, that's amazing. And to that end, a lot of credit goes to our health mobile manager, Kim Austa, who does a lot of the work involved in scheduling it and so forth. We just really blessed, the whole township is blessed with having really talented personnel, and this is proof of that. And supporting the program also is our health officer, Dave Kolodziński. So just thanks. I'm so happy to be of service.
All right. Anybody in the council want to say anything? Brian, anything about the police officers?
Sarah, welcome aboard. Congratulations. To the police officers out there, this is so important that your efforts be brought to the public. You catch a lot of grief out there. It's not a job where you get a lot of accolades. You're usually the bad guy because nobody ever does anything wrong. But you go out there, you do your job every day. Mike Tapia hit the nail on the head. He says this department has always, jumped in feet first with training and training and training and training. So keep up the good work and congratulations.
I'd like to ask Director Hubner if you'd say a few words.
First, I'd like to welcome Sarah to the police department. She comes with a lot of experience, as you heard the mayor say. What a great night to have her sworn in, and she can see the caliber of officers she's going to get to work with. We have the officer of the quarter did an amazing job. Officer Nuzzi and Son saving a life. Officer Tapia, this is the first time that he talked somebody off the ledge, literally. He does a great job with our crisis negotiators. We have a very, very good team, but he's one of the leaders. I'd like to thank the mayor for continuing to hire and recognizing the job our officers do, and the council for being here to support them. Thank you.
Talk about police and interaction. You want to take a minute and talk about the very successful National Night Out we had?
Yeah, so last Tuesday night, we had our third National Night Out. It's the first Tuesday of August, nationwide. A lot of police departments throughout the nation participate. We started 3 years ago. Our community affairs unit kind of runs it, but we have a lot of officers that donate their time, and we invite the public to come out and interact with the officers, see us on a human level rather than out there enforcing law, and it's been a great success. And again, I got to thank the mayor because he fully supports the program.
Thank you all. Anything else? Council? Lisbeth?
I'll say something. I have police community relations on my agenda, and every time that we come up to council chambers when we honor people, when we honor police officers, it's especially dear to my heart, because I've said it before, the work that they do is work that I couldn't do, and everyone has purpose. They're here, they came, and their purpose is to do the job that they do. They put their lives constantly on the line for people that they don't know, and they do it with a full heart to the best of their ability. I had a conversation with my 21-year-old daughter regarding her part-time job this week, and she says, you know, the conversation that we had, it wasn't about something positive that happened at her job, but she basically said, Mom, it trickles down from the top. So the excellent job that our men and women do every day trickles down from the top, and that's with Director Hubner, Deputy Director Niski, and everyone in the department. They constantly come to us, the mayor and the council, the administration, to continue to ask for us to support the police department so that they have the best training accessible to all the men and women in the state of New Jersey. I'm proud of our police department. I'm proud of all the men and women in our police department. And I'm gonna take it and say that the council, everybody in the council is proud. I wanna thank each and every one of you for the job that you do. I mean, kudos to the two women, the new women that just got sworn in, congratulations, and to Officer Son for the job that they do. You know, I'm also very pro-girl, so kudos to the two women for being recognized today. But in all, the whole police department, you guys do an excellent job, and thank you. And like Officer Tapia said, you know, unfortunately nowadays, I think most of the police department is dealing with a lot of mental issues. So when you say a prayer at night or when you go to church on Sunday, whoever you pray to, make sure that you always keep the Woodbridge Police Department in your prayers, because they're dealing with stuff that unfortunately nowadays we see it more and more. And thank you again for the job that you do, and God bless each and every one of you.
Just in the wrap up and saying congratulations to Sarah, to your family, to your Sarah, your family, to the police officers that were on it and all your families, and also a special nod to the police officers that came out tonight, in some cases on their own time, to just be here when their fellow officers are recognized. It says a lot about the teamwork and camaraderie of the Woodbridge Township Police Department, which is the best one in the entire state of New Jersey. Thank you.
Everyone please stand, especially you, Scott. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's keep law enforcement. We had a wonderful night tonight, in the military, and anyone that's suffering around the world in our thoughts. Thank you.
Notice requirements of the open public meeting law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The Open Star Library published a notice on November 25th, 2022. Copy was posted on the municipal bulletin board. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Bauer. Here. Councilwoman DeJesus. Here. Councilwoman McCullough. Here. Councilwoman Meehan. Here. Councilman Patel. Councilman Small. Here. Councilman Spiller. Here. Vice President Anderson. Here. And President FICARRA. Here. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from July 25th, 2023?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Beginning with the second reading ordinances this evening, taking letter A, which is a bond ordinance to authorize the provision of funding in aid of the Green Oak Senior Housing Redevelopment Project. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter A only. Seeing no comment from the, wrong folder, sorry. Seeing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter B is an ordinance amending Chapter 7 with regards to the deletion of some handicap parking spaces that are listed before you. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter B only. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And letter C is an ordinance amending Chapter 150, which is our land use and development ordinances with regards to privately stored salt storage. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter C only. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter D is a first reading ordinance. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be passed on first reading, published in the Home News Tribune on August 11, 2023, with notice of public hearing to be held on August 22nd, 2023 at 6 p.m.?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And finally, Mr. President, we have 38 items listed under resolutions. Can I get a motion by consent to approve 1 through 38?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? So noted. Any other comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
All right, we're going into the public session of the meeting. This should be a busy time for us. All public comments, please approach the microphone. You have 5 minutes. State your name, where you live. Videotaping's in that corner. Just be kind to each other. Thank you very much. Public portion is over.
Oh, don't touch the microphone, sorry. Didn't see the sign. Hey, Scott Gorich, Woodbridge proper. So, who's the John you said to talk to? I have a sheet music stand I wanted to donate to just put here. Would I be able to like bring one for permanent, just to keep over there to have for the public? I forget who you told me. Oh, to talk to you. Sorry. I have like a music stand to put notes on for the public. I wanted to just donate one to keep here, or can I come back to you afterwards? So on the last, I think it was 2 or 3 meetings ago, Mr. FICARRA, that when I came here and spoke, you took note of me mentioning my credentials a couple of times. I just wanted to clarify that that's for people. I'm learning that more and more people are watching, so that they know I'm not some partisan and I'm running for something, et cetera, et cetera. Anytime I mention those things, that's purely for people who are here, when there are people here, but to establish my perspective on it for whoever watches after the fact. Because like I've said, people have reached out to me on their towns, South Amboy and others, and some people have shown up at my door, which is, they were all luckily friendlies, but that's why I got a Ring camera now. But it's just so they know where I'm coming from. But then in rebuttal to when we were talking about the Woodmont pilots, you referenced the mayor's background and credentials, being the treasurer, et cetera. Maybe it's the cynic in me. And to be clear, anything I talk about with this stuff, I never use ad hominems or personal attacks for anybody. I am always focusing on the behaviors and what we're doing here. I like everyone here a lot, and I've read up on a lot of you, and I've talked to a lot of you. A lot of you do very good work and very good things. I focus narrowly on tax policy. When you rebutted back with the mayor's experience as treasurer, my perspective is well, that gives someone the expertise to manipulate the narrative in a way to tell you all what you need to hear to go along with whatever the thing is that we're talking about. That's a cynical perspective, and is probably not as, that's a little more caustic than maybe I mean that to sound, and I don't mean that as any other way than, look, the mayor has an agenda and there's a redevelopment plan, again, all of which I'm on board with, but it's the nuance and the subtleties on how we do it. My point is the data is the data. And I keep coming back to the Woodmont one because that's the first one we debated as a group. My perspective is the council is there to be a check and a balance not against the mayor, but to the mayor, right? That the entire purpose is that we vote you in, you work for us to codify things that the mayor proposes, right? You're expected to be analytical and act in the best interests of not just the taxpayer, not everybody owns property. Just because somebody doesn't pay property taxes doesn't mean you don't represent them. But the expectation is you do your research on the things you're voting on, you have your opinions on it, and to be fair, even during that hour-long debate about Woodmont, it was you and me talking. And my expectation is that everyone on the council, and for the next pilots that come up, I'll do all that analysis and get it to you ahead of it. So to be fair, I did it and didn't provide it till afterwards. My next comment is not meant to be insulting. It is a state of facts. I pulled a definition for it. From my experience, whether it was Jersey City or other city councils, when there's legislation or ordinances passed without your own detailed analysis and opinion and any challenging to the facts in the face of other data presented, that is, for lack, you know the term, that is a rubber stamp. These things get voted in 9-0. Now, other people complain and use the word. I understand that. There's other rebel rousers that are here that haven't been here in a while. I pulled the definition. A rubber stamp as a political metaphor. As a political metaphor is a person or institution with considerable de jure power, meaning the official power to vote, but one that rarely or never disagrees with a more powerful organization. That's what it is. I don't believe you all truly believe that I might be wrong particularly on the Woodmont properties. And your response was, well, I talked to the mayor about it. I'm comfortable with his analysis. I didn't email you ahead of this. On the 22nd, I'm going to come here again and I'm going to ask all those to provide specific opinions and justifications for why we voted on a 30-year pilot for the Woodmont properties in rebuttal to my data that proved a 15-year works for everybody. Because not every pilot is lined up with a 30-year bond, et cetera, et cetera. I agree with that concept. But I would like to hear everyone's actual opinions on why they voted yes. You voted yes. Just tell us on video why. Why do you see that as a justification in light of my data?
Council President. Thank you.
But thank you.
Yes. So I just want to say that I think that 9 out of 9 of us disagree with the mayor on a lot of things. But we have conversation with him, and we do review a lot of the information. Yeah, as you mentioned, you're narrowly interested in one area, okay? We cover a lot of areas, right? We cover a lot of this town, and there are some areas that we may not be as strong in that we do rely on the mayor. But through dialogue and conversation, I think that we come out as a unified team, that we are in agreement. There have been things that when we haven't agreed on something that the mayor or the council president has pulled, and that we were able to, until we all were feeling better about something, that if I knew I wanted to vote, if I thought I was going to vote no on something, I would ask questions in advance, all right? I want to support the vision that our council has along with the mayor. We try to work as a team. I think that best suits the township when we work together. One of the things that you don't see us up here disagreeing all of the time, because we do work a lot of that out before we come up on camera. And I think that does a better service for the township than, I'm sure you could probably go to a couple of these towns that you've mentioned and see some very exciting council meetings. And we've had some before. We've had some exciting council meetings before, but we try not to. We try to have council meetings where we're working together behind the scenes so that we can come out and have a very uniformed meeting.
Are there any other comments?
Mr. Mayor, did you want to make a comment?
When you close.
Any other comments from the public? Here are no other comments. Can I get a motion to close the public comment portion?
Motion?
Second.
In favor, aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. So as a CPA since 1980, I'm pretty much black and white. Data is data. Numbers are numbers. I don't deal in gray. I look at what is presented and evaluate it. So Mr. Gorwich prepared his own pro forma of the Woodmont pilot. Let me explain to you all the things that are wrong with that pro forma. He started with the financial statements and the pro forma that the company sent us as part of their application. We never accept carte blanche what a company says the financials will look like. We challenge their interest rates, we challenge their assumptions on expenses, we challenge their assumptions on property tax increases, on assessed values, all those things. So we basically adjust and prepare our own pro forma. In this case, we thought their pro forma was a little too rosy. We thought they understated expenses. We thought they maybe didn't use the proper interest rates, which are very difficult to project. But you might say, why does a company want to present a more rosy picture of their finances when they are looking for a tax break and they would normally want to show that they need the tax break? Well, as you know from the national media, it is not proper for somebody to present one set of financials to a bank showing a very rosy picture when they want a loan, and to present a completely different set of financials to another entity like a taxing authority when they want to pay as little taxes as possible. So why the company presented what they presented, I don't know, but we broke it down to what we think the numbers are based on the size of their building, based on what fire district they're in, based on other factors that go into an assessment. The analysis points out that the project is cash positive after 5 years. That is entirely meaningless. Nobody cares about the year when it turns positive because it doesn't account for the first years when it was negative. And you really have to look at the first year. It's cumulatively positive, which means the gains in the subsequent years have made up for the losses in the first years. In this case, it's not 5 years that is positive. It is 5 years that it first turns positive, but to say it's positive cash flow after 5 years is incorrect, not right. In this case, it's positive cash flow after about 9 to 10 years. His analysis also does not account for the additional equity that you have to put into the project after the initial equity infusion, which in this case was $38 million. There's an additional many millions of dollars that have to go in the first several years while it's not making money, while it's not spinning off positive cash flow or profits. So that changes his numbers. It also does not account for the concept of present value. Present value of losses in the first 5 years is a lot more today than the present value of gains in years 6 to 10. So any financial analysis has to account for present value. It ignores the fact that there is a 12% limit on developer profits in the statutes of pilots. They simply cannot make more than 12% in any single year. His analysis does not count for that. There's also a very important factor in pilots, and it's called the crossover impact. If at any point the property taxes turn out to be greater than what the pilot is requiring to be paid, the whole analysis crosses over and property taxes are paid. So that is quite complicated. You get to multiply, we have to pick a formula to multiply the normal taxes by a factor, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100%. It's up to us to negotiate that anywhere over the 30-year period. So it could be 20 for 6, 40 for 6, et cetera. In this case, we believe the property crosses over in the last several years, and we'll get more than his analysis shows because he didn't account for the crossover impact, which is on page 11 and 12 in the financial agreement, which he has. It is important that the life of the bonds we're issuing to cover the projects be considered. As I said, the very first day he was here, that's a very important fact. Our schools are going to last at least 30 years, but from a bond standpoint, they're going to last 30 years. If we go to rate the bonds to Moody's or S&P or Fitch, and we say, look, we've got revenue for 15 years to pay these bonds that are going to be 30 years, they'll laugh us out of the office or off the phone call. So the pilot really should match, and in the case of the pilots that are dedicated to the schools, which are most of the downtown projects, because that's the ones that are more related to the schools than the warehouses, we absolutely want a 30-year revenue source to pay back a 30-year expense source. So the bigger aspect, though, and this is where the analysis that he has goes completely off the rails. He assumes that after 15 years, taxes go back to the Board of Education. He's got a column in there, a cell that says 2.7 million, which is what the Board of Ed would have received in property taxes, according to him, had there not been a pilot. That is not how taxation works in the state of New Jersey. And people that want to know this can easily check with their tax collector or their CFO or any number of people. That's not how taxation works. Nobody pays taxes to the Board of Ed. The Board of Education, like the County of Middlesex and all counties and all Board of Eds, and like the fire district and like the town, all calculate the amount of money to be raised by taxation without regard to what the tax base is, without regard to whether there's pilots or not, it doesn't matter. The Board of Ed adds up all their expenses, they subtract their revenue, number one of which is state aid, they subtract interest income, they subtract tuition, et cetera, and they wind up with the amount to be raised by taxation. That's limited by law to a certain percentage increase over the prior year. The appropriations are limited by law to a certain percentage increase over the prior year, but they wind up with the amount to be raised by taxation every April. And they give us an A4F form and they say, this is what we need you to give us from July 1st of that year to June 30th of the next year, and we divide it by 12 and we send it to them. It's not based on any individual property owner. When the Hess building was sold to the Turnpike Authority, it went to taxable, non-taxable from taxable. It didn't impact the school budget. When Woodbridge Center opened, that's on the positive side, it didn't impact the school budget. The school does their budget based on their needs, and they ask us, they tell us how much they want, and we send it to them. So after 15 years, nothing goes back to the Board of Ed. His whole analysis says 15-year pilots are better because of the money that goes back to the Board of Ed after 15 years. It doesn't. It also says $1 million goes back to the state after 15 years. It doesn't. Those are flaws in the analysis that once zeros are put into those columns, the whole thing turns around. Forget the crossover and the present value and all those things. The numbers just don't work. The pilots are good for the township of Woodbridge. And I'll say it like I say all the time. Not once has any superintendent, and since I was CFO, I did 5 deals as CFO, nothing in the next 5 years when we were in Trenton, and since being back here, there's over 30 pilot deals. Not once in that entire period did a superintendent, and we've had 3 or 4 of them, not once in that period did a member of the Board of Ed question us, and they've had dozens of them. Nobody from the Board of Ed has ever complained, and if they were hurt by pilots, where are they? They're not here. They can come to a council meeting. They can call my office. I spend a day a week or a day every other week with Joe Massimino in his office, or he's in my office at least once every 2 weeks. We're working on a bond now for next year that's going to be fantastic, and that's going to be paid for 30-year pilots, by 30-year pilots. That's what we're doing. That's what we recommend to you. And look, it is quite insulting to say you need to understand everything about this. You're not lawyers. You're not engineers. You're not architects. You're not appraisers. You're not accountants and auditors. You're everyday people elected to office to represent the people of this town. You're not supposed to be experts in anything except serving the public. And you are really darn good at that. So don't accept criticism because you don't understand pilots the way I do. The way you don't understand, I'm a certified municipal finance officer, degree in accounting, MBA in finance, and I know this stuff not because of my degree. I know this stuff because I spent 8 years in a CPA firm. I spent the next 13 years in my own CPA firm. I spent 10 years as the CFO of the town, 4 as the chief financial officer, treasurer of the state, and 17 as mayor when my most important job is the budget. We spend 8 hours today working on finances. Don't feel bad because someone says you're not doing your job. You do your job and you do it really, really well. And I want to echo what Councilman Kyle Anderson says. We work together and you ask me questions all the time and I explain it to you all the time. And I think you understand it and I think you believe me. And just by pointing out the serious flaws in this financial analysis, put a 0 in those 2 cells and come back to me and tell me what the numbers say. They say his theory doesn't work because nobody gets money back after a pilot's over. Just like nobody gets hurt when the Hess building went nonprofit. Just like nobody benefits, no school board budget doesn't benefit when a new project comes on. It's just not the way it works. So we're going to continue. I'm going to always recommend 30-year pilots to you. That's better for the town, and that's what we care about, is the financial health and the future of Woodbridge Township's finances. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We're going to move into our agendas now, and I'm going to start off. First off, I'd like to just make a few announcements at the community center. The senior barbecue, September 19th, 12 to 2:30 in the roller rink. Pre-registration is required. You can stop by the Woodbridge Community Center. It's $5 admission for lunch and dessert. There is a seminar with the XLR Care Group, Healthy Eating Foods, and that's also at the Community Center, and that is September 13th at 11. And also at the Woodbridge Community Center, there are numerous programs with Skate Through Life, learning how to play hockey, and assistance with equipment. Our New Jersey Senior Olympics is coming up September 8th, 9th, and 10th. If you are a Woodbridge resident, this is very important. The fee is normally $40 for up to 3 events, but for Woodbridge residents, you only pay $10, and that has to be done before August 25th. So again, registering for the New Jersey Senior Olympics, which are September 8th, 9th, and 10th, normally a $40 fee for 3 events. For Woodbridge residents, it's only $10. Going back to activities at the community center, if you check out their website, NewJerseyNJWCC.com, and across the street at the beautiful club, it's theclub.org. There's just too much going on there to mention it tonight. Just looking ahead in senior services, the Senior Fraud Prevention Conference is Monday, September 25th, and it's at Avenel's Maple Tree. Councilman Spiller, I hope I'm not stealing your thunder on that. It's in your neck of the woods. Again, that's on Monday the 25th, and that's 9:30 to 12:30. Some other events coming up, the Crossroads Race, which is an annual event for about 20-25 years. It's a 5K on Sunday, September 3rd, 8 a.m. registration, 9 a.m. start. You can also go in advance to CompuScore.com/Woodbridge Crossroads, or you could just walk up that day and register that day. And then finally, the 16th annual Woodbridge Tour, the Woodbridge Bike Tour, is Sunday, September 24th. There's a 30 and a 15 mile. The start and finish is at our community center, 7 a.m. check-in. The 15 mile starts at 8 a.m., the 30 mile starts at 8:15, and you could register online at raceroster, one word, raceroster.com/77878. All this information is up on our website. That's all I have, and then I'll move over to Vice President Anderson.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is basically in order. I do want to make a few mentions on a few of my agenda items. As we prepare to re-enter school, there is a strong need for crossing guards. Please go to our township website for the Employment Opportunity Center, and also you'll see a link for substitute teachers. Substitute teachers, there are some special considerations being made if you do not have 60 credits or more. They are taking people who are students that have 30 credits as long as they're enrolled in one college class at that point, and they could apply for substitute teaching. I'm going to hold on the Mayor's Trophy. I will go down to the Hall of Fame. The date has been set for October 8th at 6 p.m., and that'll be at the Community Center. Please see the Community Center, or you can call them about tickets that are being sold, and support your local athletes. And then the NAACP, please go to NAACP.org for registration. As I said at the last meeting, they are serving Woodbridge, Perth Amboy, Sayreville, Carteret, and South Amboy. And then lastly, I'm going to mention Middlesex College for not only for recent graduates, but also for students that are entering their junior year. You can enjoy debt-free college and also dual enrollment. So students can enroll dual enrollment. You can go in, and if you do it through Middlesex College, there's a possibility you could graduate with your high school diploma and an associate's degree from Middlesex College. Please go on to www.middlesexcc.edu to learn more about workforce development and enjoying debt-free college and earning a dual degree. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilman Bauer, before I go to you, I know that I sent this to you separately all with an email, but big congratulations goes out to our own Councilman Anderson for being inducted into the Woodbridge Township Hall of Fame this year. The class. We'll just let it slide that he was a pretty boy quarterback. We'll let that go. Councilman Bauer?
Thank you, Council President. My agendas and orders have one announcement. Forest Business Community Cruise Night that was postponed Monday due to clement weather. It's rescheduled for Monday, August 21st from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Sipperstein's Paints. That's 372 New Brunswick Avenue in Fords. That's all I have. Thank you, Council President.
Very good. Councilman Small, you're up.
Thank you, Council President. Number 16 on my agenda, American Irish. Join us on Sunday, September 17th from 1 to 5 p.m. at Acacia Center, Outdoor Grove for an open house, watching football, and community appreciation. Just a couple announcements. Congratulations to all the police officers and Sarah from the Health Department who received awards tonight. Very well done. God bless all our police officers, firefighters, EMTs, CERT team, and God bless America. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Small. Councilwoman DeJesus.
Thank you, Council President. Item number 5, Police Community Relations. I would just like to congratulate our police department on a phenomenal National Night Out. It was a great night where families got to interact with our police officers and have family time in a safe and secure place. Again, congratulations. And I would also like to congratulate all the officers recognized today for a job well done and welcome the new officer, Contessa, into our Woodbridge Police Department. Item number 9, the Barron Arts Center. They have jazz, poetry, coffee house readings August 19th at 4 p.m. and September 16th at 4 p.m. It's free admission. If you need more information, please call 732-634-0413. Item number 10, the Free Public Library of Woodbridge. The children's departments in the libraries have already received some generous donations of school supplies for the Township Backpack Giveaway. Donations may be dropped off at the libraries through Friday, August 18th. Registration is open again for computer classes at the main library. And again, these classes are free. And Woodbridge Public Library will also offer ESL digital skills, beginner classes, and conversation groups with certified tutors at all locations beginning in September. Call Literacy New Jersey at 908-486-1777 for more information. And although school hasn't started, most of our high school kids that are trying out for teams or that are attending practices, they're up really early in the morning. So we just want to, again, ask all of our residents to be cautious when driving because the kids are walking in a lot of instances really early in the morning or leaving school really early in the morning. So although it's not full-blown a school year yet, all of the high school teams are in the prospective high schools. So just be on the lookout for our kids, and that is all that I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Spiller.
Thank you, Council President FICARRA. Item number 8, Cloverleaf redevelopment. The township has submitted plans to New Jersey Department of Transportation for the installation of a new traffic light at the intersection of Greenwood Street and St. George Avenue. That's directly across from Wine Chateau and Perkins. This will serve customers and residents that will visit the proposed 4 retail uses on the Cloverleaf redevelopment light. This will also allow left turns out of Plaza 35, so it's a win-win all around. Item number 16, the Greenway Family Success Center will be having a housing resource fair next Thursday, August 17th from 4 to 6 at Alvin Williams Park. There will be a free squirt painting activities for the children while the parents learn more about potential housing possibilities. Please call 732-734-1569 to register. The rest of my agenda is in order, Council President. Thank you to all our emergency responders, fire, EMS, and Woodbridge Police Department, CERT, Public Works, Township employees. God bless America.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Meehan.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is also in order. Just going down to number 4 for events. Just a reminder to get your teams in for our annual charity football tournament, which will take place next Saturday on August 19th, starting at 9 o'clock. All teams must be registered by this Saturday, August 12th. All proceeds from this event will be donated to Public Works employee Eric Baumgartner, who is recovering at home from injuries he sustained after being struck by lightning. This year, the wiffle ball tournament will also be held in memory of Rob Piero, a beloved member of the colonial community who spent years coaching youth basketball, baseball, football, and softball to his 4 children, along with countless other children. Rob passed away in May at the age of 55 and sorely missed by the community. We hope you will come out and honor Rob and support Eric and join us for a community day. If you're not a wiffle ball player, we invite you to join us for a barbecue and watch the games. The barbecue starts at 10 o'clock. And save the date for Cloning Breast Cancer Walk. This year it will be October 21st, starting at Cloning Middle School, and will end up at the Springwood Swim Club, where we will have an Oktoberfest. More details about that event will follow. And that's all I have. I hope everybody's enjoying their summer.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman McCullough.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I just have 2 announcements. I just want to remind everybody that every Saturday in Parker Press, we have our farmers market from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So come out and check out the vendors and see what kind of good stuff we have out there for sale. Also, on this Saturday at the Acacia Center is the 3rd free children's play. That is Saturday, August 12th. It starts at 10 a.m. This is suitable for children from ages 2 to 10, and the play this time will be Snow White. Thank you, Council President. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Mitch?
Thank you, Mr. President. My agenda is in order.
Sorry,
Yes.
I just have one more thing. August 19th in Parker Press, we have Brenda K-Star. It's part of our additional concerts that we have. So again, Brenda K-Star, August 19th at 7 p.m. Parker Press, free concert.
Thank you. Director Simaluka, got any good stuff for us?
Thank you, Council President. I have a tax and sewer overpayment, I have a 100% disabled veteran, and I have a tax court judgment. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Director Hoffner?
Thank you, Council President. I have road traffic ordinance.
Thank you. Director Darden?
Thank you, Council President. Just our standard bi-monthly refund resolutions. Thank you.
Director Brewer, you always got stuff for us.
Thank you, Council President. I just have one item. It's a change order to contract for 2023 milling and resurfacing road program. Thank you.
Thank you. And our legal team?
Thank you, Council President.
All right. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, Council, if you could just meet me right where I am for 2 seconds, I just have to ask you a question. Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.